Let me know when we ready, Nobles.
We fine, but that is.
Peace, Nobles. How y'all doing?
Excellent.
Let me clean my eyes real fast.
Please.
Islam. You want to open up with the North American prayer?
Absolutely.
Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Nabi Ali, Shalom Aleichem, Ayah Astra Ayah. Peace, 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 and love.
Peace and love. Peace and love to all true light seekers.
If anybody is watching on the streaming channel, mute that because it's showing an echo.
Gratitude, Noble. Here at the BBT, we like to teach and, how I like to say, preach the gospels. That's what we're here for. We're not here to debate. We're not here to discuss no one religious dogma. We have no concern with that. We're here to teach the scriptures and let you deal with it. We are a brotherhood of true light seekers, and the truth must be taught, no matter if it fills a room or clear it out. And I'm fine with whatever. Islam. So before we even get into the my main topic, I like to give a little subtopics and things on just wisdom. Like I encourage everyone to come to Sunday school tomorrow. It's going to be based on confidence and understanding why a lot of people have low self-esteem and how that carry off and how we look and how we speak and how we treat others and how we don't celebrate others. That's all a form of doubt. How you look at yourself in the mirror, and every time you see yourself as unworthy. We're going to speak about that tomorrow. But I just want to keep something in your hippocampus, because a lot of these things, man, we got to put things in reality. It's no magical wand that's going to make you who you are. You have to do that work. That's the business. And then to be successful, you have to do good business. So you got to remember that, man. Remember one thing. If there is something that you really want in this world, then experience in imagination what you would experience in the flesh. were you to realize your goals and your dreams and your aspirations, and then define, or how can I say, deafen your ears and blind your eyes to all that denies the reality of your assumption. Are y'all hearing me?
Islam.
Huh?
Islam. Islam.
Come on. This is the prosperity of preaching. You the prosperity. This is the prosperity of preaching. When I tell people, yes, I preach prosperity. You and me, not nothing tangible, because we can get that. You can realize and reach these goals and desires by these techniques, and you will receive what you ask for. You can receive all the benefits, all the glory. If you understand, a lot of the ancient storytellers, they were not writing history. That's why I said I don't argue over things that can't be arbitrarily explained. See, this is an allegorical picture. These are lessons of certain basic principles, which were clothed, or how can I say, exoterically in the garb of history. And then they adapted these stories to the limit capacity of a most uncritical and crudelist people. When I say it had to be dumbed down for people can see it with the natural eye. The difference between the form of the Bible and its substance, nobles, is as great as the difference between a grain of corn and the life germ without the grain. As our assimilative organs discriminate between food that can be built into our system and food that must be discarded, so do our awakened intuitive faculties. They discover beneath allegory and parables the psychological life germ of these biblical scriptures, or these allegories, or these parables. And feeding on this, we too cast off the form which conveyed the message. See, nobles, we don't get into arguments against the historicalness or the Bible too lengthy and all that crap. We don't get into that. What I'm showing you is what the ancient storytellers intended that you and I should see in these stories. The ancient teachers attach psychological truth to phallic, and solar allegories. They did not know as much of the physical structure of man as modern scientists. Understand that. We ain't getting caught up in no games. Neither did they know as much about the heavens as do our modern astronomers. That's why us as muftis, we got to be careful who we deal with. We got to be careful with brothers. Check people. See what their temperature is. Because I told y'all, we protect each other. And we protect our sheep. We protect our brotherhood. We invite everybody. Remember that. And we have the right to do what we're doing. This is something that Allah made us, or how can I say, the orchestrators of. And we check every spirit. Understand that. Even in the Old Testament, you will find much of the phallic worship because it's not helpful. See, a lot of people get caught up in the stuff what's not helpful. Look at it today. They want this, they want that. They dealing with all this stuff that's not helpful. They chasing all other stuff. They want that, they want this. They half-ass this. I tell people can't do me no favor. It ain't amount of money nobody can do for me. I do too much in the world. I know what go on with man. That's why I keep people close. And then when I let them go, they ain't got nothing to do with me. I interpret what it is. We grown men. See, I operate off vibration. I operate off strictly vibration. And before we come to this first of the philosophical dramas that you and I may use in a practical sense, you got to understand the two outstanding names of the Bible. When they try to mistranslate it and say Jehovah, if it wasn't never a J in the Hebrew text or in the literature, where you get Jehovah? You looking at it wrong. It's Yahweh. And we know this. And so a lot of people is operating wrong because they looking for things. They looking for things. They want somebody to give them something. They don't want the God within. They don't want a map and a guide. It's just like somebody want to learn martial arts and they just want to look and pay and get a martial arts outfit and don't even know the peons, don't even know the gulps. They just want what somebody else have. Don't have the time, don't have the dedication, don't have nothing or nothing. You know? And that's the problem. And that's a problem. So that's the thing with our lack of understanding. That's the thing with us brothers when a lot of people just got into more science and they think God men just came from more science. And I say you must do background checks on people and see what they are, see what they been. We done got caught up in like this Crips and Bloods. That's why I say a lot of our brothers are going to stay poor mentally, because this is like a game. This is like a game. It's no wisdom in it. This is not prison. This is not a whole bunch of people following no paperwork. If that's what it is, I ask every grown person to exclude themselves from me. And do what you must. It's okay. That's what I tell people. I'm not for everyone. My brothers is here with me. I'm fine with that. My brothers know my background. I'm transparent. Real education. And we try to act like it don't mean nothing. And I ask all these grown people, what do you want your kids to aspire to? Do you want your kid to be a crony? Do you want your kid to understand who they are and understand life and understand that it's bigger than them? Or do you want them to chase just athletics and don't understand what they are and who they are and what history and science and law is about? Or do you just want to operate as some goofy sovereign citizen, mad all day and angry with no wisdom, owning no businesses, just arguing, talk about you want to file something? That ain't what I'm about. That ain't what I'm about. And then I ask other people when they see Europeans, I say, do you ask Europeans what? I say, Europeans been preaching and teaching. We afraid of them. Well, I'm their teacher. If I say I'm from academia, look me up. That's why I said we've been doing this for too long. I come on here and do charity. I don't do this for money. That's why the stories of all biblical scripture contain a powerful challenge to the thinking capacity of the mortal man. The underlying truth, the analogy, the parable, the symbology, the esoteric, the exoteric, the gematria, the Kabbalistically speaking, psychological dramas, and not historical facts. We're not arguing that because you can't arbitrarily explain the law. That's why Allah said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish seas and over the fowl of the air and over the cattle and over all earth. So who said you made of junk? But that's what we do. When I lecture in the college campuses, people sit and think and read and understand. That's what I tell us, a lot of us. Why don't we sit and learn? Why do we sit and ask a whole bunch of questions? Why don't we sit and learn? You know? That's what we do, man. We sit and ask a whole bunch of questions instead of coming to learn. And when people do that, it's like when I do stuff on the college campus, when I lectures, nobody do that. They're here to learn. That's why I said it's the system of the way to do things. It's the system. If you're learning, you take notes. You don't just be spilling out at the mouth. You're here to learn. And if you're not here to learn, I'm not the one for you. You got to go elsewhere. You got to go elsewhere with that. But a person to show both of their hands and is ask you a plethora of questions. And I said, if you're a student, I'll give you everything. People be wanting books and things. And what book? A book is not going to make you nothing. I know everybody got rich dad, poor dad. They poor. They the poor dads, but they got rich dad. But they poor dads. You see? What came first, the man or the book? This is what I be asking brothers, man. It's the way we do things. It's the way we operate. It's the way we give gratitude. And we look at everybody else and treat them with respect. I said, come on, man. I asked any of my brothers on here, I said, have anybody been to a lecture on a college campus? Have any of y'all ever been to a lecture? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, Ma, so on the college,
No.
okay, gratitude. And most of people on YouTube in the real world, in the real world, they never been to a lecture. And so if you come to an academic lecture, somebody mute themselves. I hear stuff in the background, please, whoever that is. When you go to a college lecture, you ain't just asking a whole bunch of questions. You know what it is. You know the person bio. You ask those things after. And if people there, they know what a person have. They know all these things that a person asks. They'll be like, why are you asking all this? Yes, yes, yes. And hold that for later. Don't interrupt the teachings, right, Maso?
It's etiquette.
It's certain etiquette. And people and I say it's a certain etiquette. If you in tune, you would know that. And that's what I asked people. I said, I don't mean no disrespect, but it's the way things is done. And we must understand that. It's a way, if you go somewhere and they say, well, do this, be quiet, we'll be like, oh, yes, sir, yes, master. But I say it's a certain etiquette that we do when I choose to do this community service with the world. I choose to go on my personal YouTube page. I don't have to go on here. I ask people to join in and listen to the lecture. If you have anything, save it for after the teachings. Yes, I have a library. I have over 1 million books. We have our own print press. So yes. So what I'm saying is Allah has created a wealth. God has created generating systems that cannot fail. They cannot fail. A lot of the stuff I do is just things that I've gathered and compiled as a lot of the oral dissertations that I've done on the college campus when I was getting my dual master's degree. So a lot of stuff, it's just a lot of stuff that I'll be reading, be things that I gathered and compiled. And so it's pieces of everything. When a person be like, what is this? They be like, man, that's because it's a love from my academic studies, a lot of the lectures, a lot of the speakers, and a lot of the papers that I've written. So I'm just going back in my library and I'm going back in my file and ministering. Just like if people know me, all my muftis know I was a divine minister in churches in Flint, Michigan. And the only way out the fire is through the fire. If people look me up, they'll be like, man, this man been a divine minister for years, for damn near longer than me, longer than half my life. Been in prisons, lecturing, all that. Donating. So when a person say, what is this, what is that? It don't matter the title and the name. Is this man credible? Is this man who he is? Yes. It don't matter the title of that. We have no etiquette. I've been all in churches, ministering, colleges, everywhere. All of them. Yes, in churches, everywhere. And see, that's what people say churches question. Your grandma went to church. Every church is not wrong. The problem was the only thing Negroes had is the black churches. See, when I say church, this is the problem with us. Man, I go get all tenets. The Nation of Islam believe in the truth of the Bible, but it must be interpreted by its elite. Farrakhan will tell you that. Farrakhan minister in churches. I'm a minister of the Gospels. That's what people don't understand. It ain't no temples out here. Most of your mom and them dad them go to church or university. I go all over to the Tawhido churches, to Masonic places, to churches, to prisons, to women's prisons, to shelters.
No, can I speak on that part right there where you just said? I think that's very key.
Yes.
That's very key. That we think a lot of times, and again, it's just from lack of training or lack of knowledge, but when you say church, and when we talk a certain level of science, we think we throwing away everything else. But we know in the triple rows that we don't gravitate to one science where we just miss all the rest. So what we're saying is church in itself is a structure that you are the temple, you are the church. But in the building, the lessons that teach, the things that go forth from the rostrum, the community service, all of these things are good, wholesome things, right? We just need to take it up a notch, but at the same time, who am I to judge a man with a toothpick in his eye when I got a log in mine? So I'm not telling you that what you're doing is in error. What we're doing here is adding on to, illuminating, resurrecting from that which was at a dead level that now living on a perpendicular. Islam.
And all writers, Farrakhan, you judge a man by his works. You judge a man by his works. You judge a man by his deeds. You judge a man by his works. I told, look me up, look at my works. Look at my works. Before y'all met me, look what I've done. Look at the man works. That's why I be saying, people, this not just internet with me. People don't have no background but the internet. Where you ministered at? Where can you go and be a God man? And can you go in any religious house? Can you go in Masonic houses? Can you go anywhere? Can you go on academia? Can you travel? Can you do all that? And see, and that's what I tell a lot of us. This is not just the internet. A lot of brothers is one-trick ponies because they think more science is some Al-Islam. And this is the triple rose. We don't gravitate to one science when we miss the essence of the rest. See, a lot of our brothers never even read our Moorish Quran, Noble Alonzo. They are just based stuff off internet stuff and act like they some Crips and Bloods. Brother, and the Moorish Quran ain't nothing but a small compilation. The 18 missing years of Jesus, Yahshua's life, that come from other books, from other Tibetan books, from other books.
Powerful.
You say what, Noble?
I said that small compilation is powerful.
Yes. So what people be talking about? Our prophet didn't diss the biblical scriptures. I mean, that's asinine. The Aquarian Gospel, Eliseus Levi was a transcriber. Why do we get in more science to start dissing everything? I mean, I don't operate like that. And that's what we got to understand and stand strong when our own people do that. We got to let them go. We got to let them people go. They don't understand the essence, the esoteric, the exoteric, the analogy, the parable, the symbology of these teachings. Where are your brothers and sisters at? Show me some more science temples, because all they doing is spewing hate. So you got to be a God, man. Just because you a Moor don't mean nothing. Is Farrakhan, don't Farrakhan minister in churches? Huh? Okay. So what do people talk about? That's where the people, he have his own movement like I do. I have my own movement like I do. But when I go back home in Flint, Michigan, it's one more Science Temple of America, and it's raggedy as hell on Martin Luther King, and it don't even be open. As soon as it go for floor closure, I'm buying it. Now, how about that? Point blank. So when I go back home, it ain't the Moorish Science Temple ain't open. When I go back home, everybody like, hey, Reverend, would you come to our church, Sheikh Goodman Bay, and minister and talk to the kids? Yes. If that's where they at, yep. Reverend Goodman, will you come to our youth program and talk to the kids? Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. It ain't no more Science Temple. It ain't no Islamic mosque on there with a brother. It ain't none. It's one in Flint, Michigan. It's a Muslim house. When the brothers get out of prison, I know the brother. He say, brother, you powerful. He say, man, I don't have no problem with you. I say, I don't have no problem with you. We hug every time I go home. Bismillah. Salam alaikum, my brother. Alaikum salam. We hug every day. I go into prisons. In Flint, Michigan, when I go back home, watch, I walk right through the door. Hey, Sheikh. Hey, you want to talk? Yes. So what these clowns talking about, man? Community service. What are Moors doing? But on the internet. What's the background? How can you help be a community man and you're not in the community? What do Moors own? I mean, honestly though, see, we get on this internet. That's why I said the internet exposed people. See, what the internet did is bring out a lot of chumps, and they just love typing. See, that's what the internet done. They think they could be hide behind things and just be talking and talking and talking. But this my channel, I just block you. That's what we do.
You said what they own, right? They own rich.
Yes. And this is what I'm telling us, man. Like, this is like if you learn the martial arts and your martial arts student, Nobles, is maybe only good in one thing, and you meet me and I'm good in his thing, your thing, working out, meditating, building finance, keeping everything clean, training the boys, being disciplined. That ain't nothing wrong with them. That means I'm going to a higher level. And that's what I'll be telling people. Forget this Moorish science stuff. Forget Moorish science. Moorish science just became popular in the last few years. So Moorish science is knowledge, order, rhythm, astronomy, and nature. So if you're not operating on that, then what we talking about? Your mom and them went to church. Your sister and them go to church. It be Moors right now. They wives go to church. They'll be wanting to hear nothing. Their kids go to church. On Easter, they're going to go to church. On Mother's Day, they're going to go to church. All this stuff. And then they get on the internet talking crazy. Everything ain't bad. Everything ain't bad. That's the problem with us. We look, everything ain't bad, brothers. And if it is, you in the wrong thing. Or you think every empress bad? Well, every empress ain't no good. That I'm gonna go get a different thing. Why? You just got the wrong one. It's nothing new under the sun. This is what I'll be wanting our brothers to understand. It's nothing new under the sun. We are the Gospels.
Islam.
The triple road is the Fatimid, the Paraclete, the Christian, the Jerusalem, all that understanding so you don't miss the essence of all the rest. If you gravitate to one science, then you miss the essence of all the rest. You miss the essence of all the rest. And you can't stand up right. How? You can't stand up right. And this is what we do. We waste energy on that. And that's why I say we got a long way to go, my brothers and sisters. We got a long way to go, my brothers and sisters. Because a brother that's educated, anointed, and consecrated that can help you and guide you and your family, we just start spewing stuff out the mouth. And that's what we do. And it's a sad day. So as I proceed, because I got to get out of here, God has created a wealth generating system that cannot fail. See, people be always talking about the money is the root to all evil. You're a preacher man that's operating as a trained preacher and not having a wisdom of God, following Titus, the qualifications of the pastor, the qualifications of the sheep, the qualifications of a God man. It's qualifications. It ain't just because you got on the internet and want to open your mouth because you work all day as a common laborer. The first reaction to that, a lot of Christians or whatever they call themselves, because the majority of our people in our family is Christians, aren't they, nobles? Be honest.
Islam.
I want people to stop playing on here. They get on the internet, act like they family grew up as Islamic. You a lie. I come in, your grandma know, like, no, we went to Southern Baptist Church right around the corner. Reverend Pork Chop was our pastor. And Rashmir Bey, boy, I got all pictures with you in the church choir. Boy, stop lying. Stop when you got baptized by Reverend Pork Chop. Stop playing. You were here dissing stuff.
Hey, you right. No cap, no cap.
And when your ass die, Reverend Pork Chop gonna bury you. So stop getting on here playing. That you know it and I know it. Some of their grandmas got that Caesar Borgia on the wall. The first reaction to that statement by many so-called Christians or any so-called believer would be to claim that it's carnal, selfish, and outside of biblical values. See, I base my understanding on the scriptures. It's a direct quote from the scripture. What scripture? Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19. Read it for yourself, which most of these cronies don't. Read it for yourself. But they're going to tell you that money is the root of all evil. How can money be the root of all evil? You can't even explain that. Money is an essential thing in this life. So to desire money is not selfish. It's necessary. Even if all you want to do is walk the streets evangelizing, which doesn't take a lot of money. You still need provision, food, clothes, shelter. You still need money, right? Don't you?
Yep. Yep.
But these people say, oh, why are you doing this? But you go to work for pennies. You trade hours for dollars and brag because you work down there 100 hours a week for $7.13. You happy. It'd be all these poor people on the internet got a lot to say. God wants you to have money for 3 fundamental reasons. 1, to fund the kingdom work. You are the kingdom work. To go into the world and preach the gospels. It takes money. You got to understand that you're not junk. What you working for? Just to pay bills because you trying to be like someone else and all your money is spent. And as you make more money, you spend more to provide well for your own household. Nobles can't even provide for their household. When the bills come, they be mad like a dog. Oh, man, the bills come. Yeah, bills come every month, clown. You ain't budgeting. That's why you out of shape. That's why your mental messed up. That's your job, not your families or the government. Like a lot of these Moors that be talking that stuff and they live with a girl, the government, the daddy, and they rent $13. And every year they get that damn Section 8 money to get a car. And they get a 2000 Charger with 500,000 miles on it. And they don't put no place on it. And then they get impounded in the pound. And then they mad. Everything in the girl name. And she got to get it out. God has called you to work, to provide for yourself. Not to be no hustler. Not everybody got to pay you something. What is your profession? What you do in the day? What do you do? What do you do to subdue the earth, to have dominion on the earth? We should be controlling most of our resources. For example, if you don't like immortality, if you don't like to live as a God man, you shouldn't be listening to me. If you don't like the prosperity of men and say that you are the God, you have the keys. And I don't give a damn how much you pray all day and you do all this and fast. Ain't nothing going to happen. I don't care. I don't care if you talk about you astroplaning and you go to a whole bunch of meetings. That don't mean nothing either. And some people feel that you shouldn't discuss money. Why? Why not? They want it. So you're supposed to be pouring work for pennies. Why? People work 80 hours a week to earn every dollar they can. You know? People be spending money on the lottery, hoping, and publisher clearinghouse and all that, thinking they finna win something. Then focusing on the spiritual work that plays and operates in the manifestation of Allah's blessing. See, that's why I say I'm not mortal and I'm not going to deal with mortal men. I'll let them be. This social media means that I can block any negativity. That means nothing. That's not my crowd. See, idiocy is a people crowd. That's why they love getting hustled. See, my intellectual capacity is too long. See, we ain't talking about nothing stupid. We ain't talking about doing this and I can pay me to do this. We ain't talking about I can make you a whole bunch of dollars and do this. That's what a person will want. I don't have that for you. A person's aptitude is not long enough. See, a lot of adults' attention span is only 15 to 20 minutes. They ain't got time. That's why they want something. It's like they got ADHD. They can't even stay still. It's like their mama was smoking cigarettes when they was a kid and eating a whole bunch of annihilators in the womb. And that's how they are now today. According to a lot of people, they don't understand these blessings that God has for you. If you're supposed to be the ruler of everything. That's why Allah is the sole source. And my God shall supply all your needs according to the riches and glory in the Christ within. The Christ within. See, I asked every Negro, I said, what scripture you have first, the Bible or the Quran? See, do you know the Bible and the Quran synchronized? So when people be saying things that don't make sense, I know they haven't studied. Because they start talking out the side of their neck. It takes a lot of spiritual work to get to the place where you let Allah, where you let God be your sole source of supply. That don't mean you know punk. I said it's my sole source of supply. My sole source of supply. I ain't no punk and Allah ain't make no junk neither. The biblical scripture states, if someone won't work, he shouldn't eat. 2 Thessalonians 3:10. Isn't that good? So when I say church, you are the church. This church right now. I ain't talking about no building. See, that's what I'm saying. Our people don't understand language. They be all out of the context, Noble Alonzo. I said stay in context, but we can't because we don't even know what context mean. Brothers be all out of context. All out. I says, please stay in context when you listen to me. If not, I'm going to block you. It's just like that because you disrupting the flow. And Allah is the creator of work. However, that manifestation never intended for us to put our faith and hope in our labor alone, nobles. Also, that manifestation did not intend for you and me to turn anything else into your source. Not your family, not your credit cards, not the government, these people on Section 8. That's source supply. What does it supply? Everything you need to thrive. You don't want help. You want the sound mind to figure it out. You want the sound mind. You want your hands to be blessed. You want your mind to be blessed, to do the work. Power to produce wealth. Power to produce wealth. Abilities of any kind. The blessings that produce wealth. What are the blessings that produce wealth? Your hands and your mind. Your heart can be right, but if your mind and your hands ain't working, man, that's just all in your head. See, the biblical scriptures, Allah, it doesn't say that Allah, God, makes you wealthy. It says that manifestation will give you the power to produce wealth, the power to produce, the power to produce. Deuteronomy 8:18, the power to produce. And it's in the Quran as well. See, people don't understand that words have synonyms. See, they don't know they're not under a certain aptitude. We're talking about a lot of shade tree mechanics. I ain't saying you ain't know how to put the tire on a car, but you forgot the bolts. You can't give nobody no warranty. You a shade tree mechanic. I don't want no work by no shade tree mechanic. If I can go to a licensed brother, he gonna give me the same love and the same price as the shade tree. I'm gonna say, man, you still ain't went and got your license, got in the shop. You still doing cars in your driveway? What you doing with your money? Buying clothes. See, that manifestation will always give you something to put your hands to. To put your hands to. You hear me, Noble?
Wow.
To put your hands to.
Yeah, wrong.
That's what we doing. As a God, man, He's gonna bring his brothers together as a good foreman, and we're gonna work with our hands as masons. Anoint your ability and bring the blessings on the scene when you are obedient to these commandments of what? Being a workman. Being a mason, which we all are. 9 to the 9th power of 9. See, people lost in mistranslation. They lost because they want to argue. And I'm not going to argue with nobody. I don't waste my time with that. I told people I would never waste my time arguing with nobody. I will block. Block, block, block. I don't waste my time debating nobody. That should be a student. That's a waste of my energy and breath. I'm not going to discuss history and science with someone that haven't studied history or science. That's the waste of time and energy. That's a waste. I don't have time. That's why business is the only system that creates wealth. Business. Engage in business until I come. Engage in business until I come. Oh, so you don't like that? You don't like that encouragement? You'll get rich dad, poor dad. Well, I'm giving it to you. Your brother giving it to you as a divine minister. You would take rich dad, poor dad, some stuff, and you still ain't rich. But I tell you, these biblical scriptures is more powerful than some rich dad, poor dad. But you looking at some with a blind eye. That ain't powerful to you, nobles? Somebody talk to me.
Wow. That's powerful.
See,
Absolutely.
Wow.
see, they not students. They're not philos. They're not philosophers. You don't know how to take things. You don't know how to get your test tubes and your beakers. You don't know how to get things and dissect it and get all the good and let the rest go there. You have nothing to compare to. You don't know language. So everything is operating as a lower self, which is anger and envy and hate and spite. And that's lower self.
Yeah.
See, some followers of certain gospels tend to want that so-called fake wealth transfer. And you will hear those cronies talk about some generational wealth. And they can do this. You can get it. And they know some Bitcoin and all that. Man, please. But they started off religion. Because, see, that's a lack of. Because they have no skills. Spoken of in Proverbs 13 and 22. To be an event. But Allah's system is an ongoing system. A continual flow. Just like when I talk about water. I don't have to talk about no God essence. I can talk about water and fire, earth, air, river, and the 7 Kemetic principles. And if you don't understand that, I'm definitely ain't dealing with you. Into the hands of the righteous. See, business is that simple. And business is that system. And that doesn't mean that every person is called to own a business. That's the problem with our society. Everybody on the internet think they a business, but don't know how to do business. But each of us will engage in business in one form or another, whether it be your job, when you purchase something, or with your investments. That's why I be asking these cronies. Business is the exchange of goods or services for profit or economic gain. So when people say they doing business, well, I just told you what business means. Business is the exchange of goods or services for profit or economic gain. So what type of business you doing? When you are employed, you are selling your services, which I always say you trade hours for dollars. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's your basic sustainability. Now we're going to add to it. That makes you a part of the system. However, don't discount the idea that you may be called to do higher and more glorious things. Manage your own business. It might be advances at work if that's what you're striving to. That's why understanding that God essence inside, we got to understand this to take dominion. And business is a powerful place of influence in this world that should be dominated by the righteous. Don't you know in all Islamic areas where you think the garments and stuff come from? Where you think the color of the fezes come from? All this stuff wouldn't. As I update my passport, I'm going to show y'all. Me and my empress are going to go to Fez, Morocco. I'm going to go to a place in Spain that's right by Morocco. You're going to see Muslims, Christians, all around each other. You're going to be seeing me with all Europeans, everything, right by each other, loving Islam, peace, all that. That's why I be laughing at people. We so caught up in this stupid internet stuff. I'm telling you, and I'm international. I'm like, I don't have time to be worrying about that, man. Another way we participate in Allah's system of business is by acting as patrons. See, when you give your money to a business, you are what? Transferring wealth from the kingdom of light to whatever the business stands for. That's why when Europeans do business with me and students, they say, I love doing business with you because I love what you stand for.
Indeed.
That's why I say I'll never be poor and broke. I never have to beg nobody to do nothing because I'm alumni from universities and I have the privilege to go to all other churches and synagogues and Masonic houses and the Philosophical Research Society and teach and lecture. And my whole library, I can be in there for hours and come out with the bag and give people exactly what they want for pennies, as I continue to do with college students. So that's what I operate on. And then there is an interaction with a business that each of us has almost every day. You interacting with something. We interacting with Zoom. We paying for this. So we in the business. We in the system. We are doing business. We do business. We do business. We not hiding from business. We do business. You got to understand the transfer of money for a service that you need. That's why I'm telling you, man, we operate on truth and the truth will make you free. We have no time to be playing with nobody. Let them argue. Let them debate. Let them brothers do all that. Let them be poor righteous teachers. The way in which we treat another man's business. See, this is my business. When a European get on there and tell you to shut up and say this is the white man's world, you'll be like, damn, man, they've been lying to us forever. When your kid go to school and they teach them about Christopher Columbus and they think and they write about who are you and they say they slaves, you don't go to the school and make a fuss. You don't say nothing. You don't do nothing. You sit right there. You don't even go to your kids' damn parent and teacher meeting, but you got so much stuff to say on the internet. I'll be asking grown people, when the last time you went to your kid parent teacher meeting? Oh, I don't know. I know. But you got a whole bunch of questions to ask a grown man and you ain't did poo diddly. Talking about the children are the future. Children only are what you make them. If they see you and they on welfare and all they aspire to be is on welfare, you can't be mad. Why? Because they see their daddy on welfare. Well, they like, Dad, you good? I see you with all the clothes. I see you with all the girls. I see you on IG popping bottles in the club. I want to be just like you, Pops. With your old sorry self. It will determine the success you see in your own wealth. Luke 16:12 says, if you have not been faithful in what is another man's, who will give you what is your own? See? All business requires work. But some people think they can dress up and give you a magic wand. All hard work brings a profit. Proverbs 14:23. All hard work brings a profit. Isn't that good to you? So what people talking about? They read all these books by all these people and say, oh, hold this book up, but you ain't going to understand the gospels and take the good and let the rest be. That's what I be saying, man. We so messed up because we don't understand. I say, man, you got to understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. You got to understand, I speak in the spirit. So when I say the church, we are the church. Temple, synagogue, what you want to call it. State, community, neighborhood, what you want to call it. And see, that's what I be telling people. You got to, when you open your mouth, what a person to do is put both of their feet in their mouth.
Law governs all events. You know,
Come on.
governs all events. We dealing in commerce. Islam.
This is what people don't understand. Is they do. What did you base your understanding on? A whole bunch of stuff. Because we basing our stuff on law governs all events and the system. And if you say you are more, well, I can show you everything I'm talking about is how the temple's set up. So if you don't understand what I'm saying, you definitely need to be quiet. And that's why people lost, because they don't have the information to fact check a person and be like, man, you really need to be quiet. Just like all the courts, they have all this, what I'm saying. They be like, well, he is who he is. What? He making it plain. Work is not a curse and it's not toil. That's why a lot of people complain about their jobs and they dread Monday because you're not the great nobody at work. You feel something, oh, my boss telling me this. Duh, you ain't nothing but a common laborer. What do you think your boss supposed to tell you to do? Do your job and go home. You should be the most interesting man and woman at work if you got other things going on. And if Allah live in your life, you're supposed to have an analogy like a horse with blinders on. You don't see nothing on the side. You don't see nothing on the other side. You don't see nothing in the back. All you see is you doing your thing. That's all you're supposed to do. Because you haven't had a revelation. A revelation is understanding what you're doing. Revelation, I don't give a damn about your stupid vision. You can have a vision of rattlesnakes, pumpkins, and javelinas. If you don't have no revelation of understanding, that don't mean nothing. You don't understand that a revelation that your work is more than a paycheck. See, work was Allah's idea, which means it's a good idea. If Allah said, man, we should work, then that ain't no bad idea. That's a good idea. Islam? Allah says that blessing, that work of our hands, that means you can expect much more than a natural return for your work. Proverbs 14 and 23. In all labor, there is profit. And you know that because that inner blessing speak of much more than a natural increase. The Gospels teach whatever you put your hands to will prosper and succeed. And when your heart is right and you are in obedience, his blessings on your work will send you farther and faster than you could ever go on your own. That's why when people be trying to get that Tibetan bowl like I do, and they say, why I can't make it do that note, and they be hitting it, and I say, because you ain't relaxed. The bowl fill your spirit. You ain't on a high frequency to get that God essence, to get that God frequency, to make chills go on your arms. You're not there yet. You can't say to call the player Islamically and make chills come on people. You're not there yet. You will find yourself promoted when you weren't expecting these things in all walks of life. That's why business is your promised land. God tested Abram. See, we can use these analogies and these parables. I told you, I broke this down that showed you that man made in the image of Elohim. So all this stuff right here, didn't I break down about your body? That's why when people be talking, they say, man, you really should just listen. This man done already broke down the body. Now he breaking down this in another context. Like, what are you like, please? And people be like asking you to leave. People that come to my lecture will be excluding you out like, dude, you got to go. Real talk. I'm telling you. They'll be like, because this man done broke that down. Like, why are you? What you mean? Well, I'm lost. Well, no. That's why he tell you to come to class. He ain't charged. He asked for $5, $10. And he'll give you wisdom. Like, come learn. Get these blessings. Get these blessings. Remember the analogy of Abram was wealthy, but it was only through a time of proving and wrestling and resulting blessings of the Lord that brought him into the promised land of prosperity. These are lessons. I understand they make the esoteric, the inside, and make it outside for you can see it plain. I broke all the esoteric and the exoteric meanings down. I broke your body down. I broke all the chest cavities. I broke the so-called 12 disciples, the 20. I broke all your body. I broke this down. So it should be no misunderstanding when I'm coming in a particular context. Business is to us today what the land was to Abram. It is our promised land and proving ground. Abram first proved himself faithful. So also, we must be faithful in our work. Faithful in the little things. Faithful in where we are now. Faithful even when working for the unjust bosses. You don't talk that much about the boss you work for. You don't make no videos about your boss. You'll get fired. Faithful with other person's business. And when you are faithful in your work, you will enjoy the blessed. That's what the psalmist says. A blessed man is like a tree planted by streams of water, whose leaf does not wither. Everything he or she does prospers. That's Allah's system for his people to be planted by a continual flow of everything we need. Wealth transfers are always work related. Work, work, work. Your hands. A sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. See, I told you, money trumps all. You hear what I said? I said a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. A sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. A sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. That's why, man, they say, man, you got to be okay with money being given to you. They say money don't have to be earned with you. You done earned enough. You done gave half of your stuff away. They said, be okay with all these groups and these schools donating this to you. They be okay with it. And I finally came to that point where I'm okay with it. All the organizations, the West Valley Health Summit, all these boys and girls clubs, all these women's shelters, all these basketball camps that I did with my dollar all those years. And they like, man, be okay with us donating to you. Be okay with us doing fundraisers and asking people to donate to you and make sure you give them a tax exempt receipt. That's why I said we going way farther. And I said, I'm just getting started on this level. Just getting started on being able to build this infrastructure. And I'm not going to let cronies and stupid Moors stop the mission of Allah, because all God's people is mine. White, black, orange, purple, green. I don't care what color you are. You a polar bear, you a black bear, you a grizzly bear. I'm rocking with you. When I was the youth counselor at the Youth Development Institution, man, I'm working with all youth. You think I'm pick and choose on Allah's children to minister to and help? You got to be a fool. You got to be a fool.
Go ahead.
You got to be a fool. I'll tell you right now, you might as well stop dealing with me. I'll tell you right now, stop dealing with me, because I'm in Arizona, and most people that I help that come to me for help don't even look like me. If y'all been following me for years, my soccer camps, it wasn't a discolor soul in the house. So please, all we want is something free. That's why, and some miracle event for money to simply fall in your lap out of nowhere. Allah ordained wealth transfers are always work related. Remember the widow in 2 Kings 4:1-7. That's why I know these cronies don't read and study nothing. She was backed in a financial corner with no way out. Listen to the analogy. Listen to the story. Listen to the parable. Listen to the lesson. Listen to the keys in this. Her husband had died. See, this is something that you can see. This is something that happened to a person in real life. And I say angels come in the flesh. That's what I tell people. The prophet and angel is clothed in the flesh. So when people be thinking these miracles, that's why I say you definitely don't know what the hell I'm talking about. If you or more, you should understand. But you don't, because you don't study nothing. If you know your one-on-ones, the prophet and the angel is clothed in the flesh, that should shut any fool up. Islam?
Islam.
Thank you. So as I proceed, her husband had died, leaving her alone with her 2 sons. She didn't have money, and creditors were banging at her door. That happens now. People don't answer the phone. Y'all got all that credit card debt for some clothes. Threatening to seize her 2 children and take them as slaves. Her husband had revered the Lord, like got on his knees and prayed. You know, they're showing you our analogy. Yet this debt was not miraculously canceled. They didn't say, okay, your debt is canceled. Like, oh, I went to the mailbox and poof, magical dragon, a check for $5,000. Miss me with that clown shit. Excuse my candor, y'all. Excuse my candor. Instead, the prophet, Elisha, provided her something she could put her hands to that will open the door for what? A supernatural wealth transfer. Gathering and filling bottles of oil. That's what I've done for y'all. That's what all the people I deal with, academia, they said they don't understand what you're doing in the flesh. They say they don't understand what you provided for your brothers and sisters, all y'all, all of them. I've done that. That's the analogy of the script. I've done that for every one of y'all. Tell me I haven't. My brother that's with me, that done put in that work, that been with me for 4 or 5 years, I done that. This biblical, this God, I don't care about nobody else that's holding on like loose teeth. See, I told y'all, I'm transparent. I don't care about nobody that's holding on, jumping here and there. I tell you how I feel about you. You ain't got to wonder. I tell you in your face. I know Negro just hold on for a reason because they think they're going to get something, but you ain't going to get shit from me. I tell you. I don't have no problem with that. I stand alone. A lion don't need no help. I die fighting. Please. This internet ain't real. I've done that for my brothers that sacrificed with me. We've done the wealth transfer. I just gave a biblical analogy. Didn't I do that for all my brothers? All y'all done been with me for 4 years? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Islam.
This is true testimony. When you have a financial need in your life, you got to ask Allah to work, bless them hands. When I was going through things, when my brother was murdered in Flint, Michigan, when my cousin was murdered in Flint, Michigan, when my homie was murdered by his brother in Flint, Michigan, when my other homie in middle school got his head blew off, when my homie K9 got shot in the mouth with a shotgun, I ain't asked Allah for an easy way. I asked him for a sound mind to deal with all this trauma. All this shit like a damn soldier that had been to the World War I. I gotta know how to, that's why I'm so into this sign. That's why I don't let no grown person play with me. I don't let no nationality, I don't care, black, white, orange, purple, green. You're not playing with me. Nobody. Period. Not no man, not no woman. I don't care. My wife say I'm good with it. My mom, my dad, all I said, you stand tall. I stand tall. And when you have a financial need in your life, don't expect money to show up on your doorstep. The ability for Allah to bless you is connected to what you do, your work, whether it be employment or any other work. When I put my financial hat on, because y'all know I have my undergrad in finance and financial history and literacy and business management. When I talk about secondary income and primary income, right?
Indeed.
And diversifying yourself in real life. That's what we have here. We have a real Silicon Valley. Expect to put your hands to something. That's what I'm showing us, like as a good foreman, as a good master mason with pupils. This is the type of science we under with a sheik, with a tasawwuf, with an abbot. Speak out loud. Thank you, Allah, that we can provide all this opportunity to do what? To put our hands to work. To put our hands to work so that we may prosper. That's why the territory that we're claiming is you, your work. That's why the scripture says Allah will make you the head and not the tail. That's Deuteronomy 28:13, but they always want to get into some slavery shit. I say, I get that. Then when you got out of slavery, you still gonna be lost. See, when the Negroes got out of slavery, they still didn't know that they was free. So I don't give a shit. I'm gonna talk just like that because this is asinine. We can call up and see we were slaves. You wasn't no slave. You chose to be that. Well, we. Now I ain't choosing that. I'm an American. My family ain't no slaves. You want to take that? Fine. See, we have this, and then we take these songs. And I said, how can a person that say that they made in the image of God take so derogatory songs and sing in church? Amazing grace, how sweet, and a ranch like me. And then these folks will try to blame it. Well, I was a wretch. When were you? I thought you was made in the image of God. And when I was a child, I act like a child. And when I came a man, I put away all childish ways. But we'll let these Albion, European trailer dog, no disrespect to no one. They call you Negro black. I'm going to use the language and the lingo to give you these so-called Negro slave songs. And that's what you think you are. You think a part of you got to die. Why? Dying ain't have nothing to do with resurrecting. Ain't no part of you is evil. Taking possession. We take territory and have dominion on this earth plane. We do. We have dominion. Right?
Islam.